What's going on, everybody? Welcome to On3 Sports. I'm your host, Nick Kosko. With me today is a very special guest, former Heisman Trophy winner and Florida Gators legend, Tim Tebow. Tim, great to talk to you again. I know you've been doing a lot of great work with the Good Works team with All-State and the AFCA. And, I love talking to you about this stuff because you get to just showcase so many great athletes and what they do off the field. So why don't we start with that? And, what really stood out about this year's selection of all these players and honorees this year?
Well, Nick, thanks so much for having me. Thanks so much for hyping what these kids are doing. And it's really not about me, it's about them. I just get to try to highlight them because what they're doing is incredible, whether that's starting their own nonprofits, whether that's traveling to South Africa to care for foster kids, or whether that is helping the homeless. There's so many incredible young men. JJ Pegues, JJ Weavers, you got the both of them that are crushing it. Broom McCoy at Tennessee, Malachi Starks at Georgia. There's all of these different schools that are rivals on the field, but yet off the field, they're just doing incredible things and rallying people together and bringing so much hope to so many people that need it in hard situations. And it's just such a blessing. These 22 young men and Coach Freeman from Notre Dame, what an awesome man he is. They're doing incredible things. And once again, Nick, it's just such a privilege for me to have the chance to be able to talk about this. This 2024 All-State AFCA Good Works team is incredible. I think when you look at what they've done compared to the other years, it's hard to find a year that's more impressive than what these kids have done. And it's also, look how creative they are using their NIL funds or being able to match different gifts that other people are giving. And so just really exciting, creative, fun. But at the end of the day, what's happening is lives are being changed and impact. And that's what's so cool.
Yeah, I really love it this day, because you get to see the improvement, I guess, year to year, and just as you mentioned, new creative ways. And of course, in the NIL world, everything can change, and they can use different resources now to do all this work off the field. And I love how rivalries are put aside as well. So that's great. Switching gears to football, based on this past weekend, maybe one of the biggest storylines was, again, as a former quarterback yourself, Texas, no quarterback controversy, but people want to talk about two quarterbacks, Quinn Ewers, Arch Manning. Quinn Ewers goes down with an injury. Arch Manning fills in and showed why he was the top recruit just a couple of years ago. I'm very interested on your take as far as that dynamic is concerned. Is there a controversy? Does Steve Sarkisian have a tough decision to make? How do you see this playing out between Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning?
Well, first, I would just say I think Arch has played extremely well, and not just well, but excellent to elite. He really has. He's done so many things, whether that's been accuracy or poise, decision making, ball placement, athleticism, so many things well. But with all that said, I do not think there's a quarterback controversy. I think Quinn Ewers is one of the best players in the country. I think he has a legit shot for the Heisman. Texas has a legit shot to be a playoff contender, if not a championship winner. Is Arch, do they have the best quarterback room in the country? Probably, with both of them. Could Arch be an elite quarterback right now? Yes, probably, but I don't think that you have a controversy. I think Quinn is the guy, and you have an elite backup who's going to be also probably an elite player, maybe a superstar. And I'm excited to see that. But right now, I really believe it's Quinn's time. It's Quinn's team. But how fortunate are you that you have another incredible player right behind him? Like, let's also be honest. Sark's done a really good job at recruiting and building and cultivating and building up these quarterbacks. And then on top of it, I think Sark is one of the best play callers as well. So that only helps both of them.
Yeah, for sure. As a the quarterback, again, only one person could be out on the field at a time, and whether Ewers plays this weekend or not, and Arch fills in for a game or two before they really hit the road or hit the ground running in SEC play. If you're Arch, and it seems like he's handled it really well, I'm curious about your take on this. He elected not to transfer. We mentioned NIL, the era of the transfer portal. Malik Murphy was in this room last year. Now he's over at Duke. He's starting. What kind of credit do you give Arch for sticking it out and staying behind a guy who elected to come back for 2024, is a Heisman candidate, could be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft? How does this look on Arch and I guess his relationship with Quinn Ewers, knowing the two could still work together here this season?
I think the way he's handled pretty much everything has just been superb. Like, he's just you you just see his demeanor, the way he carries himself, the way he talks, the way that he is a good teammate, the way he supports Quinn. All of these things speak volumes. And then something else that does it almost never gets talked about. Go ask his strength coaches and his teammates about how hard he works in the weight room. Go ask him when all the people and the fans aren't cheering, how he's working there and how he's being a good teammate. I think that speaks more volumes than everything else does. And so I just been so impressed from this young man, from the way he's handled his recruiting all the way to, with Malik last year to then this year, getting his opportunities and making the most of it. I don't think it was just this last Saturday night. I actually think the week before and the week before that, week 1, he played extremely well. He came in and made a bunch of plays. When he's had his opportunities, he has shown the same traits: poise, accuracy, athleticism, over and over and over again. And so I'm just super proud of him. Not that he needs that from me, but just how he's carrying himself and his willingness to say, I'm gonna come in and learn. And I signed with this team, and I want to be with this team. And I'm sure he got. My guess is that he'd probably get great offers to leave, but he said, something about it matters. And I think that's Sark. It's the UT, it's all of that. And I think it's cool. I think it's a big statement for college football.
Definitely a great story. Sticking with the SEC, your Florida Gators, I know they've been in the headlines, have struggled so far this year. Billy Napier, I know he's facing a lot of questions right now. Quarterbacks too, Graham Mertz or DJ Lagway, the young freshman stud. Based on what you've seen from the Gators the first couple of weeks, I know they got a win, but the ones that stick out again are the Texas A&M loss from this past weekend. Of course, playing in-state foe Miami week 1 just did not go right for the Gators in Gainesville. What are you seeing? What can be done? What's really lacking with them right now to get over that hump as they've been searching for the past few years?
I think for me, and probably not just me, it's not that they lost. It's probably more of how they lost. It's especially week 1 is the losing both lines of scrimmage, losing in the tenacity, losing in the competitiveness, losing in the fight, losing in the resiliency. I think how you lose also matters. And you definitely saw more this weekend. And everybody kind of wants to point to the big highlights. Well, it's just, a head coach or quarterback, because those always get them probably way too much praise, but also sometimes way too much scrutiny or criticism. And it's so many other pieces to that. And I think this isn't about the quarterbacks. The quarterback position hasn't been the issue. It's been most of the other positions around it, especially the offensive defensive line. The SEC is still a line of scrimmage league. I know it's changing. It's not as much that as it once was, but it's still, you want to win, you better go learn how to be physical up front, offense and defense. And right now they're not stopping people on 2nd, 3rd, and short, and they're not able to control the line of scrimmage offensively on 1st down to run the ball. So what do you have? You have 2nd, 3rd, and long almost every time. And that's just, your quarterbacks are way behind the 8 ball, and that's an issue. And I think those are the things that really come to life for me that a little bit harder to watch.
Sticking with the SEC here again, everyone talks about Texas, what Georgia's doing. I know they had a bit of a slip up against Kentucky, but still a win. And of course, Alabama continuing to roll post Nick Saban now with Kalen DeBoer. It's easy to talk about those top 3 teams, but I feel like the SEC, again, with the additions of Texas and Oklahoma, the league just got deeper, literally to 16 teams, but also the quality of play. Are there other teams out there that we should be watching out for after this first quarter of the season that maybe we're not giving enough love to? I mean, teams.
Let's find out this week after Tennessee and Oklahoma. I'm excited about Tennessee and Nico, these receivers. So many really good receivers there. They're able to run the football. When that offense gets going, watch out. When you're good on getting that first down, this is a dangerous offense. And so I'm really excited about Tennessee. Nico's got a chance to just be very special. Like, nobody wants to play this team right now. And it's be fun to see because Oklahoma's got a really good defense. They're figuring out a few things offensively with Jackson Arnold, the running game, Gavin Sawchuk, who's a member of the Good Works team, getting Burks going at receiver. And so they're figuring it out. But this defense is for real. So it's probably like the first really big matchup of a really good offense and a really good defense going head to head. And I can't wait for that.
Couple more for you, Tim. And again, I really appreciate your time, and of course, preaching what you do about the AFCA Good Works team, what you guys do with All-State. It's really great stuff. Just out of the SEC, because again, everyone wants to talk about how deep the SEC is, but the Big Ten might be just as deep this year. Ohio State, everyone's number one. Oregon maybe got back on the right track with their big win over Oregon State. Do you still see Ohio State as they're the team to beat in that conference, despite what Michigan did the last couple of years, and who knows what they're going to pull off this week against USC? How do you see the Big Ten unfolding based on what you've seen over the first few weeks?
I see Ohio State by far the team to beat. Their depth, what they have done, Jeremiah Smith, Will Howard, Quinshon Judkins, plus all the other players that they've had, the depth that they have, the speed, the physicality. I see them by far the team to beat in the Big Ten. Is there other good teams? I think USC is a whole lot better this year. I'm excited for them. I'm excited for Oregon. I'm excited for to see how Nebraska continues to play throughout the season. Obviously, how does Michigan bounce back? New starting quarterback is very gifted. Let's see those things. But I think the team to beat right now is by far Ohio State.
It certainly seems like they're going to keep climbing the polls. And again, loaded offense, loaded defense. You already mentioned Jeremiah Smith, one of the best receivers in the country already, and he's only how does that happen? He's only 18 years old.
I was at practice, during fall camp, and I was like, "What? Like this is a joke. Like this kid is so gifted." And I know this sounds like a lot, and I don't mean it to be hyperbole, but I remember going against Julio Jones' freshman year, and I was like, this just the first name that came to my brain when I watched him was I thought, "Ooh, that reminds me of Julio." And so I was like, dang. And I don't put a lot of people into Julio's category. I have very few. Him, AJ Green, a couple others. That's not many. And that's who I thought of. So we still has a lot of room to be able to get to Julio status. But that was the first name I thought of, which
boy, man,
he's hard to stop.
If he's the next Julio Jones, I mean, just watch out college football and watch out NFL. Tim, I wanted to give you the last minute or two here to just where can we find more information about the Good Works team? What can people that are not athletes, what else can they do to assist and basically promote all these good standings and good charities?
Yeah, you can go to espn.com/allstate, and we need everybody to go vote on the team captain. And so whoever the team captain is also receives this year the All-State Werfel Trophy, and which is such an incredible award. Danny Werfel was a hero to me growing up and was fortunate to be a part of that as well. And it just means the world. And I love how they're coming together to inspire kids to do good. And it is just so much fun. So we need people to go vote. Out of these 22 incredible young men, which one do you think deserves the team captain award who will receive the All-State Werfel Trophy? So go vote.
Tim Tebow tells you to go vote and see who the team captain is this year for the Good Works team. Tim, I really appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us here on On3 Sports, and great to talk to you again, and hope to do it again really soon.
You too, Nick. Appreciate you, man. You have an awesome day.
You too. Tim Tebow with me right here on On3 Sports.